Hello and welcome back. Another week, another episode of the episode? A chapter of the book club of the Charm Offensive. I don't know what I'm talking about. I am going crazy. But that is apt for this week, as this chapter left me puzzled, confused, sad, all the feelings. I read it before I went to bed last night, and I just had to put on some YouTube and completely forget about everything that happened because it was wild. Like, there was great bits and it was a great chapter, but I was also like, I'm sad and I don't... And I wanted to read on so bad, but I was like, if I read on, I'm going to forget what... Like, the thing is, my brain is small. And I was like, if I read on, I won't remember what was in the chapter that we have to do. But God, it was a tough one to not keep going. But, like... crazy chapters, crazy things. I was like, are we finishing the book, this chapter? And then I didn't know. Also, a couple of you, thank you again, all comments, love them, love reading them. But a couple of people were saying there's an extra chapter on the author's website, I think. So I'm assuming I read that. Someone will let me know. But, like, I read the comment and now someone will let me know further. I'm assuming I read that after I finish the book, and that'll be like our last week. Like, we'll finish this, that'll be the last week, and then we'll read that, and that's the last week. And what I should have said in a couple ago, I'm nuts today. Oh, firstly, oh, jeez. It's going to be a week. It's going to be a week, people. Strap in. I am, and this affects it, I'm sick. I've got a cold. I'm fine. Like, obviously, it's just a cold. But I am nasally. I can't breathe very well. I also, as you know, talk so quickly. So not a lot of air going in. Not a lot of air going to the brain. That's not good, first of all. B, if there's a lot more cuts than usual... because usually I cut a heat to blow my nose, it'll just be more. So maybe things will be a little sanity, but if I sound awful... Luckily, this microphone actually does wonders for me, but if I sound awful, you know why. Secondly, next book that we're doing. Now, usually I do the poll to be like, what do we want to watch? Because obviously I want us to, like, have as a group decision. But there's been one book that has been... like, fairly wanted, I think, but never wins the poll. And it's been on there for the last 2 polls we did. And I kind of, in myself, was like, I want to just pick it. Because, and then see where we go from there. And it's, oh, I always forget the title. House on the Cerulean Sea, House by the Cerulean Sea. You'll know what I mean. But I think... that is the book I kind of want to pick, because it just seems like everyone, like when we did Red, White, and Royal Blue, one of like the 3 main books that everyone was like recommending was that book, and it is done like strongly on the last couple of polls, but like it didn't get there. So I'm like, I kind of just want to pick it, but obviously I'm gonna put that feeler out and see what we all think. So do let me know if we want that, or you want me to put up a poll, or put any other suggestions you would like in there, because obviously this is a group thing. It's our book club. Obviously, it's a first time reading for me. Some of you I know get the book and we read it together, which is really fun and exciting that we're experiencing this together. And some of y'all have read it before, so it's cool to get back there. But I just want to know what the vibe is for everyone. I'm thinking of doing that book, but... if we still want to poll, if we want to do it differently, let me know. Also, if you still want to give me suggestions for other fun gay books, do let me know, because I'll pop them on my list. I have a list, and we could get to them eventually. But as this is a long chapter, we should probably get into it. There's going to be a lot of stuff I skip this chapter, because it is a lot, and it is busy, and it hurts. So there's going to be, obviously, a lot I get to and a lot I don't, as is the nature of these videos. But don't blame me if I skip any good bits, because there's a lot of good bits. There's a lot of good stuff in this. Other than that, like and subscribe. That would be, like, wonderful. But other than that, let's get into chapter 9, I think. So we're on to home kingdom visits, which is home visits, obviously. I didn't know how it worked, because we're in San Francisco at the start, which is where Charlie lives. I'm pretty sure, but also where Daphne I was a little lost. You know, when they give American geography, I kind of, you know, when you read, you're mostly reading, but parts of you are skimming, and I see, like, when there's bits that I just, like, go past them, and American states and stuff. Like, one bit, someone lived somewhere and it started with M. I don't even know what the word was. I just kept skipping over it. I was like, that is irrelevant information. I don't need to know that. But I'm pretty sure we're in San Francisco where Charlie lives, but also Daphne lives. And a lot of this, you know, chapter is really structured, and I like it, you know, about the kind of ending of the show, but also about what Charlie wants out of his life and what he's going to go back to, because he's so close to you know, getting that tech life back, you know, doing his work that he loves, doing what he came here to do. He's here for that, which is, you know, fantastic. But he's also like, is that the person that I want to be? And at the start of the chapter, he's very yes, and we go through this journey with him. Besides many other things, I don't know, this is a very, like, quintessential part for him, like, figuring out and kind of being somewhat gaining his confidence to kind of get what he wants, which I really like. He could have that again. In 2 weeks, he'll propose to Daphne. She's already promised to say yes when he asks. The show will air, and they will pretend to be in love on live national special. And thanks to Dev, he'll come across like the perfect prince. He'll be famous again. He'll get a job again. He'll be allowed to sit at a desk to do work befitting his brain again. He'll be allowed to contribute something again. It's the whole reason he came on this show. He could have everything he's ever wanted. So why can't he stop thinking about that little house in Venice Beach that smells like oatmeal and bleach? Why can't he get that lump out of his throat? Because you're in love, bitch. Like, is it not any more simple than that? And he'll figure that out. But the interesting I think about this is Dev, creative person. Charlie, tech genius. If I was Charlie, and maybe this is not the way his brain works, but it's the way my brain works. I'm like, yes, I want to be that, like, you know, high, powerful, you know, he wants to work in the powerful, big companies because they probably have the biggest projects to work on. And we know it's not about, you know, it's not about the money for him. It's a bit about the status, but it's not about what company, it's the work. And I reckon those companies have the hardest work, the most challenging work, and they push for those, like, strong things. So for him, that's why he wants to go there. Also, it's the company that, like, he started. But if I were him, I'd be like, I have my brain. I can kind of do any job I set my mind to wherever. I'd be like, small startup, or like he can do something. Dev has, like, such juices to create things, such creative juices. I'd be like, 2-man fucking lovers team, create, I don't know, a dating app, create a fantasy dating game about love. I was like, there are endless possibilities for app ideas that could kick off, and those two could do it. I was like, Dev's, you know, you got the brains, and Dev's not the brawn, but you know what, the brains and the other brains, because I don't know, those two, they could make it work. They could definitely, in my mind, that's where they go down the line. It's definitely not going to be how it works, but in my mind, I'm like, they could make a lot of money, and then they could have a really nice house on Venice Beach. Doesn't have to be little. I'm not saying a little house is bad. I'm just like, they could be bazillionaires, because I reckon they could get something going real well. So at the start, we've got this moment where you kind of think everything's going well, and then, like, Jaws music kind of starts in my mind. That's how I imagine it. And you hear the dum 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 bum 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 bum. Maureen Scott, that fucking bitch, that old bitch. Put her in the ground. Don't, you know, fill it with dirt and just keep her away, because I hate her. Like, obviously she sucks, but as we go further, she sucks even more. I understand her as a character. Like, don't get me wrong. She's doing a job. She's working. She has kind of shitty ways about going about certain things, but she's there to make money and appease probably her higher-ups to get ratings. I understand that, but does that not mean she's a fucking, I was gonna say two-faced bitch. She's just she's full-faced bitch. She's a full-faced bitch. She's here because we're back in the States, and she's showing up, and everyone is different because you've got your big boss, and that's like, it's going to be true in any job. When the big boss is around, you're going to act differently. You know, when you're all kids overseas ready to play and party, it's a different vibe than when big boss is there. But yeah, that's like, it's one of those things I had to note, that she is here and we hate her, but she's around, and that really changes the dynamic of what is going to go on going forward. Okay, I think I was wrong. I think we're here for Angie's family, and then Daphne's family is next. There's a lot. They're the side plot that I don't. Obviously, I really like especially like the ladies left over. Well, Daphne and Angie are really fun. I do enjoy them a lot, but I know in my heart of heart that they're not going to end up. Or he doesn't care, like, we're not here for them, so they don't take the forefront of my mind. So I'm like, where are they? Don't know. But he gets to Angie's house, all her family's over, he has a slight panic attack and runs in the bathroom. Obviously so, a lot of new people, a lot of touching, and no one's, like, respecting that, which is fucking rude. Oh, like, I swear some, like, I don't know. It's a lot. No one cares about that in this universe. Like, no one's like, personal space. Yeah, it's a thing. Let's deal with it. Angie kneels down in front of the toilet where he's cradling his head in his hands. You're not embarrassing me. You have anxiety, Charlie. It's not like you're actually my boyfriend. He looks up at her and tries to take a deep breath. I'm sorry, he says. And he means it. So profoundly. Angie doesn't deserve to be used on national TV. None of us women deserve it. None of the women deserved it. I'm sorry. None of it was real between us. Oh, baby. That's okay. I know. She gives his leg a pat, tries to tap the pattern on his knee without knowing it. I was always just along for the ride, and I have no regrets. I got to travel to some amazing places and with some amazing ladies. Besides, everyone knows the female friendships are the only relationships on this show that actually last. The bathroom door opens and Dev slides his skinny frame through the crack. As soon as Angie sees him, she backs away so Dev can take her spot at Charlie's feet. Hey, how's it going? Dev immediately starts tapping Morse code onto Charlie's leg in the correct pattern. Ryan beat up some aunties, so the place is mostly cleared out. Charlie puts his hand over Dev's. Thank you. Of course Dev holds his gaze a little longer than he should in front of Angie. Of course. As Dev helps Charlie off the toilet seat, he looks up and sees Angie watching them. She smiles softly. I know, she says again, and Charlie understands now. She knows. Maybe she's known the whole time. Angie doesn't break character for the rest of the night, and when dinner's over, she walks him out to the black Suburban, waiting to whisk him away to his hotel. She kisses him deeply. She says she can't wait to see him at the Macon? See, word? No clue. At the end of the week for the crowning ceremony. But right before he gets in the car, she pulls him in close and whispers, too quietly for the mics to hear, it's not too late to stop playing by their rules. She whispered it like they were in like a dystopian Hunger Games, Divergent, Maze Runner type thing where they're like, here's the chosen one, break free, do your own thing. I was giving those vibes, but I love it. Angie, you've got up a lot of you got a lot of points for that one. She's just like, I am the bisexual queen. I am Angie. Fuck shit up. Charlie, fuck shit up. I don't care about our relationship. We're friends. It's fine. I like the ladies, but like, go fuck this show. Turn its head on its ass. I don't know the saying. But I kind of like how he's getting, I mean, poor Lauren, she's lost. But they kind of been like, he's kind of getting that vibe from the ladies, been like, go do what you want to do. Everyone kind of wants, there's just Maureen, which honestly, someone bang her over the head with a pipe. That's horrible. I'm sorry. I don't endorse violence, but like, she needs to be taken out. Like, someone take her to the desert and leave her there. That's less bad. I don't know. She just needs to be taken out so they can like choreograph this like fun end to the season that's going to be gay and amazing. And honestly, she's worried about viewers. I'm sorry. I know, and we get into this later, that she doesn't want, you know, the bisexual girl winning the thing, or you can't have a gay prince or something. But turning the show on its fucking head and having the prince become gay in the last episode and falling in love with a producer, that is ratings plus. That is so, like, that's wild. That is wild child, amazing, like, I would tune in. I hate these shows, but that is like, holy shit, I've got to see this. They would blow up on social media, like the ratings would be through the roof. I'm just saying, Maureen, I don't actually think, someone give me her job, because she probably gets paid a lot of money, and I could do it. And I wouldn't be such a bitch. Maybe a little bit of a bitch, but, you know, not too bad. Power goes to my head. It doesn't, it just does a little bit. But we move on. So on the way back from Angie's house, oh no, what was his name? Josh. Charlie gets a text from Josh, the Win Hand guy that he used to work with, who he went to school with, to be like, hey, heard you're in the area, let's talk some business. And Charlie, as completely freaked the fuck out, which rightfully so, because this is like everything he's working towards. And he's like, Dev, you have to come, even though it's kind of strange, but like Dev decides to show up. They go to this breakfast, this you know, like fancy place. Dev feels out of place, and they start talking about business, and this is where shit kind of all goes kind of like downhill, uphill, but downhill. Like, it's the best and the worst at the same time. But Josh is like a prick. We kind of are thinking that there's a possibility that Charlie may have had a crush on him without knowing that, because he's handsome. And, you know, when you have that friend that's like really enigmatic, is that a word? Like, magnetic personality, really confident, opposite to you, can do things, is competent, that you've known for a long time, who's also very attractive, has a lot of the same interests as you. It's hard, like, not to go down that route. You know what I mean? Like, Charlie completely, like, idolizes him and thinks the world of him, and, like, probably without knowing really loved him. And, you know, Dev kind of talks about that, which is hard because Josh also holds that power over him. And we know he knows that. Like, he can make him feel so small, and it's crazy. And he's kind of like, hey, we've got a job for you to do. And Charlie's like, you have a job? Like, I'd love to do that. Be back at the company. And he's like, no, we'll see how this goes, and then if you do well, maybe you could come back. And he's just like, you fucking prick. You kicked him out of his own company because he's got, like, a few, like, differences than, like, you. I was like, you suck, my guy. And Dev sees that too. And after so much belittling and biting his tongue, Dev lets loose, and it is fantastic. How can you sit there and insult him like this? Offer to hire him as a contractor when his name is still half the company title? You built your fortune on his brain, and now you want him to beg for a chance to get back in the building? Fuck you. Hey now, Josh says, scanning the room to see which important people are witnessing this little blow-up. Even in humiliation, Josh is handsome and poised, and some part of Dev's brain that isn't overwhelmed with rage wonders if some part of Charlie's brain loved Josh Hand before he knew what it meant to have feelings for another man. Is this why Josh has the power to make Charlie feel so powerless? The thought only intensifies Dev's anger. No wonder Charlie came on the show believing he doesn't deserve love the way it is. Every single person he's ever loved has only reinforced this conviction that he's not enough. And he doesn't have little quirks, and there's no part of his personality he needs to learn to control to appease you. Charlie is compassionate and brilliant and funny and sexy as hell. That last detail, perhaps, could have been omitted, but he plows onward, and quite frankly, if you can't accept him as he is, then you don't deserve him, and that's your fucking loss. This is fantastic and needed to be done. Because there's at some point with, you know, boyfriend, partner, best friend, friend, if you're not ready to stand up for your friends, are they your friend, boyfriend, lover in the first place? That is the real question. Because, yeah, if someone's belittling, like, I feel like that's one of those things, you can take a lot yourself, but when someone's, like, going at, like, someone you know, love, care for, it's way easier to crack the shits, but it's also good. Because, like, it proves that you, like, it proves to yourself how much you care about them, and you're like, I'm not standing for this shit. Luckily in life, I haven't had to have a moment where I completely go off it, because obviously situations like this, I feel like don't happen as much. This is very like rom-com, but like I'm loving it. But it would be fun to do a fuck you, you don't like. It would be fun to do one of those. Oh, honestly, I could do it. I'd get me to a nice breakfast where I can go yell at someone. I'll have a great time. So we switch back to Charlie's perspective, and he's kind of talking about what that did for him, what that mean for... Like, he goes into kind of reflective mode really quickly, which is great. Except that he liked how the work was a shield against living. He liked how the world outside his glass and chrome office kept him from thinking about the world outside of it, where he felt alienated and disconnected. He liked how the productivity made him feel worthy, and he liked how being busy never left him time to think. He liked how the 20th floor apartment made him feel successful in the eyes of other people. It meant the measure of his life was something, even if beneath the surface everything felt empty. That's what he lost. That's what he is fighting to get back. Glittering nothing. So he kind of realizes that maybe all that... Like, he's... Like, it was all that, like, great stuff that people want, but it was, like, such a lonely life. And I feel like he's like, I don't want that anymore. That is still maybe a part of a life I want, but I want to share it with someone I love and I can smile. Like, you know, there's that thing that, like, money can't buy happiness. I think money can buy happiness, but it can't buy, like, that sort of companionship and love and, like, purpose. You know what I mean? I feel like money can't buy happiness is a very weird saying, but, like, money can't buy purpose. I feel like is a bit of a better, like, someone that gives you purpose to do things and go out and things, to work for things, whether that be relationships and jobs. Like, money can buy you a lot of good things. Money's great, but it doesn't, you know, it can buy happiness. I can buy a lot of things to make me happy, but it can't buy that purpose and drive to life, to live, to love. It's those things that I think that it can't get, and that's something he has had a taste for, and he's like, actually, that's really what I want out of life. Like, money is great, but I want Dev. He is a purpose for me. That's like kind of... Has anyone said that before? I want to coin that phrase. Money can't buy purpose. That's the real... If that doesn't make sense, please let me know. But I feel like it kind of works. It's kind of fantastic. Me, when I think I've been smart for like 5 seconds. Holy shit. So he goes outside. He says like, no, fuck you. He doesn't say fuck you. He's like, I'll pass. I don't want to be here anymore. Dev frowns. I know. I screwed up. I shouldn't have lost my temper. But he was a dick to you. And I couldn't just... Charlie takes 3 steps towards him, fists the front of his jean jacket, shoves him back against the wall, and swallows the rest of Dev's sentence. He tries to kiss him, with the sureness he felt blossoming inside him. New feelings he's only just beginning to understand, still fumbling to process. It's Josh always laughing at him, and Dev always laughing with him. It's the difference between the 20th floor apartment and a house in Venice Beach. It's the drawing realization that Charlie could spend the rest of his life grabbing Deb by the front of the jean jacket and kissing him against every brick wall. Charlie knows he loves him. He knows he would choose him if he could, but until now, he hasn't really let himself consider what choosing Dev would mean. A life together, a future. Dev in his bed from now until forever. His brain can barely fathom it. He's always been alone. He's always been prepared to be alone. Has no idea how to build your world around someone else, or with someone else, or what that even means. But he knows in the back of his throat, in the pit of his stomach, in the consistent pumping of his heart, that a life with Dev would be a glittering something. Dev pulls back. Charlie, we're in broad daylight on a busy street. Charlie simply yanks him back down with his teeth, kisses his thank you against Dev's mouth, Dev's jaw, his throat, like Morse code. So you're not mad I screamed at him then? Dev asks. Charlie nuzzles himself against the curve of Dev's neck. Not mad. Charlie is something else entirely, and he doesn't know what to do with all this certainty. This is the confidence he's gaining. He's getting that purpose. He knows what he wants. He knows the life. Like, he doesn't know how it's going to happen or how it could work out, because that's the thing going in like a new relationship. They're in a relationship, but they're not in a relationship. They still don't know a lot of how life works to them, how they could work. There's so many like variables, but at least he knows that this is where he wants to go forth, go with, go to. He wants this. He wants this all-encompassing Dev. And he wants to be with Dev and have Dev and Dev's world and embrace that and work towards it. I think that's the best thing. Like, him knowing what he wants from us seeing him been such a kind of fucking mess throughout it. You know, not a mess, but like really kind of not knowing where to go, to having this kind of I know what I want energy is fantastic. So we skip a bit forward ahead. We're at Daphne's house. We're kind of meeting her family. And, you know, this is the one that they all know he's going to propose to. Like, that's where they have structured this season. And Dev's kind of like, I don't need to watch. I don't want to watch. I don't care. Like, it's hard for Dev because he knows from here on out, nothing's going to go the way he wants it to go. So he kind of goes for a walk, and Ryan's kind of been like a good friend. Like, you can tell that there's no, like, in where Ryan's going and talking and acting with Dev, there's no I want you back. He's actually really kind of being compassionate and knows him and knows something's wrong and wants to talk. Dev tilts his head back against the bark and looks up at the sky through the fragmented branches. He can't remember the last time he could see so many stars. Ryan clears his throat. I imagine this is all a lot harder now you're fucking the star. Dev jerks his head. He must have misheard, misunderstood. What? It must be harder, Ryan says, his tone as indifferent as ever. It gives nothing away, even as Dev feels the inside slide down to his feet in panic. You're watching the guy you're sleeping with meet his future in-laws. So we're kind of getting this vibe through this chapter that everyone knows, which is, you know, somewhat understandable, because as good as they have been at being hiding it, you can't really, I feel like, you know when people are in love with people, or you can tell when people, like, they have that energy together. And it is similar to best friend energy, but even so, I feel like they're too together and like, it's best friend energy turned up to a 20, which is like a very fine line between, you can be very best friendly with someone, but there is that switch that you can tell when people are fucking. you can tell. But it's interesting that it's not interesting, actually. It's very obvious that people would be able to find out, especially with the ways they go about. Like, they're not subtle. They're not as subtle as they wanted. I'm in love with him, he says without thinking. So at the end of this thing, is it going to be you accepting the final tiara, or is it going to be Daphne Reynolds? Dev flinches. Don't be cruel. I'm not, Ryan says, and he's really not. His tone is tired and a little sad, but it's not cruel. I'm being practical. What's going to happen, Dev? In a week, is Charlie going to get engaged to Daphne? I mean, he's under contract, so So you're going to let a man who's been having sex with you behind the cameras get engaged to a woman on national television, and then what? Ryan pushes. Are you and Charlie going to continue dating in secret while he goes on talk shows with his new fiancée? Are you going to go into the closet for this dude? Are you going to live right off camera in Charlie Winshaw's life forever? I don't know. Dev takes 3 deep breaths, holding each one for 3 seconds. Everything is spinning. It's a humid night, suffocating. He hasn't thought about any of this yet, and he doesn't want to troubleshoot his future with Ryan Parker of all people. That's the sad thing is, you need to troubleshoot this future because, like, I feel like him and Charlie really had to make a plan, and they didn't do that, which is fine because they're living in the moment and living that love while they could. But I feel like they both started, and Dev, we know, has always pulled back and pulled away. He has not accepted that the life he wants to live with him is achievable. But Charlie's there, and I wish he had gotten there sooner to maybe start working on Dev to be like, we will get through this together. We will find a way to work this out, because you want them to go for, it's so hard because you're like, they could just run off to, I don't know. I still think the ratings would be fantastic, but I think this is the moment where Dev's like, maybe it's not going to work, where it's Charlie's so on board. So you have these two conflicting, it's rough to see, but it's great that you get, I praise this book so much that you get both perspectives. Also, if we have any other, if you think it's a good book, good gay book, and it has 2 perspectives, let me know, because I'm loving getting both. I think it's fantastic. I love seeing, it's the one thing I like that really tips this book over the edge of being like fantastic for me, is getting 2 protagonists and 2 views. I don't know, it's amazing to see what both of them are thinking, because you can't even get stuck, because like you'll always sometimes root for someone, or there will always be questions on one, because you can't see what you can only, assume so much. But for this, it's like, I know what each of them, and you can just really be on both sides or really make decisions about what you think. So we're getting this, and we move forward. Charlie's getting to talk to Skylar, and we keep getting these wonderful, like the side characters, is that what we call them? That it feels so mean, but they're the secondary characters are really pulling through this chapter, and I think this is a bit that separates it from me from boyfriend material. Is I loved, you always have the two main, the loves in the thing, and they were fantastic in that. But I really wasn't a big fan of like the ensemble, the cast, the everyone else, because they just. But in this book, everyone is written very well, and I like all their choices feel very, like they make sense. They feel like real people. They feel like something that I could imagine doing if I was in those shoes. They feel very purposeful, and like they're making correct decisions. I don't know. I feel myself like being like, yes, these characters are amazing. Whereas in boyfriend material, I was kind of like, oh, I love, Luke and Oliver, but I was like, these other friends, wild. But we're talking to Skylar, and they haven't really opened up to anyone, or us, Charlie, as much, but we get this really good bit with them. They kind of talk about their partner, their life, and they go into this. I'm telling you this, Charlie, because you asked how you're going to know, how you know you're going to love someone forever. And the truth is, despite what we tell people on this show, forever is never a guarantee. And I don't know if I'm going to love Ray for the rest of my life. But I know right now I can't imagine a future where I don't love them. And for me, that is enough. Charlie fidgets with his tux jacket and wishes he could find a way to thank her for sharing herself with him. Find a way to tell her what it means. Skylar swallows an antacid. I think you have to decide if you love him enough right now to try for forever. Charlie chokes. Him? Her? Daphne. I love Daphne. Skylar raises from her chair and approaches him again, reaches up to brush the errand cuffs off his forehead so he's camera ready. Son, I know everything that happens on my set. She doesn't say it threateningly, doesn't sound angry. She says the word son in the same way Dev says the word love, as if Skylar knows he's always wanted to be someone's son too. But what if, he asked in his head, asked the director head of Ever After, I don't know how to choose him. Oh bitch, we're gonna find a way, because I know the end of this chapter, it's wild and it's crazy and everything is, oh my lord. But I love that. I think this is like, this is penmanship at its finest. Like, but I know right now I can't imagine a future where I don't love them. And for me, that's enough. Like forever and those things, it is kind of like scary. Like for me, as someone who's never been in a relationship, that thought process, like I've never been in love. So reading all these really hurt and make me feel lonely. But I can't relate to those feelings. Like I know what love is. That's not, we know what that would be. Ooh, that would be a therapy session, not a book club. But like, I know I love my friends. I know I love my family. Like that feeling, but for like a partner, that is something I don't experience. But when I think about it, because I've never had that feeling of like, generalized forever is wild to me, because I'm like, I understand that is something I want, but like that feeling of forever and is crazy. But just hearing that, like knowing it's like enough now, that is what, and you would want it forever. I don't know. I think that's beautiful and kind of really like frames how you should go into, I don't know. I think it's just like, it just makes so much sense. And I love it. I think that's one of like my favorite quotes in the book so far. I should really write all the quotes down, but that was a good one. I forgot to mention before we go into this next multiple bits that Charlie and Daphne had kind of a little cute one-on-one, and they were being like delightful and really bonding, and they were like holding hands, friendly wise. Dev walked into them, kind of freaked out a little. Charlie didn't really just double down and explain, and Dev's kind of like overthinking it, but we get into the crowning ceremony. It was a lovely bit, but I skipped it, and I feel like it's fine because we've still got we still have a lot. So Charlie asked Daphne if you'd like to remain a princess. I don't remember how it works, but would you like to be a princess? I think, she starts, I think you should send me home tonight. Charlie tries to temper his reaction for the cameras. So like wild shit going on. Daph, you were our choice. We were going to fake date you. And she kind of says like, I don't know if I can do fake for 6 months. Like this show has really showed me what I want and like what I don't want. And now that I'm the person I want to be, I can't do 6 months of not that, which is like fair. Daphne, fair. And the fact that they have to sign contracts is like kind of fucked up. That you can't, like, it's all kind of scripted and it's just wild. But Maureen cuts the cameras. Like, I get why she does, but someone fucking put her down. I hate the way she treats them. Like, I feel like there's just she's all business and she's at work. That makes sense, but there is no, like, humanity to her. And if she rationalizes herself like she has this humanity, but she just doesn't. She just wants the show. Which I get if you're work orientated, but no, I'm doubling down. I hate it. I don't care. I don't care. She annoys me, and I want my boys to be together, and she is standing in the way with that. But she calls a quick meeting to crack the shits at everyone. Everyone is scared. Everything's falling apart. She's basically like, "You're under contract. You'll fucking get married." And they're like, "We could do Angie," and she's like, "Oh no, fucking thank you." Maureen wheels around her face and scoffs. I've already told you we're not going to have a bisexual win this season. Dev watches the way his statement registers on this statement registers on Daphne's face, watches the way her mouth slides open in horror. Charlie looks equally stricken. He meets Dev's gaze, and his expression asks a simple question. Did you know? Did he know that his boss refused to let a bisexual woman become the next star or the winner of this season? Oh, don't look at me like that, Maureen snaps at a pair of them. None of this is about me or what I believe. I'm a Democrat. I support gay rights. I hired all of you. she says, gesturing to Dev, Skylar, Ryan, and Jules. She is filling up the bloody she's getting a checklist done. Dev has never felt more like a prop, like a checked box. Maureen plows on. But this show hinges on appealing to a wide viewership. I'm giving America what it wants, and it does not want a bisexual princess. I'm just saying, gay prince would be way more interesting. What America wants? Daphne echoes slowly. What if I was gay? Someone asks at the same time. It's Charlie's voice that slices through the tension in the room like a felled tree in the forest. Everyone looks at him. No one breathes, especially not Dev. What if I told you I was gay? Charlie says again, his grey eyes steady as they fix on Maureen. What if I told you I can't get engaged to any of the women at the end of this season because I'm gay? What if I told you I was in love with a man? Charlie has never said that word before. Love. Dev wants to bask in the sound of it sweeping past Charlie's lips, but Skylar and Ryan both turn to look at him while Daphne's tongue gets caught on a vague sound of disbelief. You're what? What if I told you I was in love with a man? Charlie pushes forward, like the brave, beautiful, naive man that he is, and I wanted to choose him instead. Maureen puts her hands on her hips, stares down the man Dev loves, and says, You do not want to play this game with me, Charles. You think we've never had a gay prince before? I would like to know more. Of course we have. I don't give a shit what you do or with whom when the cameras aren't rolling. But when they are, you're going to pretend to be head over heels and in love with her. He points angrily to Daphne. Charlie looks around the room. At Dev, at Jules, at people who know the truth and are saying nothing out of fear. And what if I refuse? Charlie asks, each word clipped. Maureen is still for the length of one shallow breath. Then I'll give you a terrible edit and let the entire world see just how crazy you are. This is why she sucks. This is why she sucks so fucking much. The air is pulled out of the room by Maureen's words, and Dev's brain doesn't have the oxygen it needs to understand. But it tries. The boyfriend on night one, the wool suit, Daphne throwing herself at him at the ball, Megan and Delilah, the massage group quest. This entire season, Maureen kept putting Charlie in situations to exploit him, because she knows about his mental illness, knows about Winhand, of course she does, and now she's standing in the back room using the footage to blackmail him. All Dev can think is 6 years. He made so many excuses for Maureen, justified so many of her actions, and for so long, and somehow, only now does he understand the truth. Maureen was never his ally, never his friend, and this show never was about love. He threw away 6 years of his life. Which sucks, because, to find that out would be horrible and sad, and just the fact that she's no bisexual queen, and no win for them, doesn't care if you're gay, you sign contract, we have to do this for America. It sucks. It isn't fair, it isn't right, it's useless, it's crap. Also, I'm bitch, it would be a good season. I'm just saying that right now. I think she's blind. She's old, crusty, dusty, and the crusty dust is stuck in her eyes because she can't see what America would actually like. Plus, in the worst possible way, I feel like the parts of America who loves it would love the gay shit. They'd be like, oh my god, yes, slays all round. They'd be so happy, clicks, and all that stuff. And then people would hate watch it. That's a horrible thing to say, but it's the reality of our world. A lot of people don't like us. It's a fact. But from a pure and 100% rational standpoint of the network, people would still tune in. Let's be real. People would watch that. There would be there would be a hate button. Charlie, it would be so hard for the reaction of something. He would have a lot of love and a lot of hate. But from a network standpoint, I don't think you could actually have a bigger end to a season. I'm just saying, it would do well. Ratings through the roof. Through the roof with, love and hate. It would be a shit show, and it would be the best shit show. I'm just saying, oh, wow. She's missing out. I'm sorry. She's dumb. She acts so high and mighty. She's a dummy dum-dum. She's a dummy dum-dummy dum-dum. So we go back kind of to their hotel room, and I think I'm just going to read for like a lot of pages, but I have to just... There's a little bit to skip, but I'm soldiering on, and then we'll talk. We'll check in, because this has to be... there's just so many... this is like wild shit. The end of this chapter is crushing. Like, it makes so much sense, but it's crushing. It's wild and it's crushing. It's well written and it's crushing, and you understand it and you can't... It's so... But we should just get into it. Charlie lets himself cry a little bit longer, lets himself enjoy the feeling of Dev's arms and Dev's body before he pulls back. What are we gonna do? Dev's eyes are glassy, far away. There's nothing we can do. We all sign contracts. You'll propose to Daphne and get engaged, and the show will air, and then you'll finally get everything you want. I want you, Charlie says, because he does. Even though Dev stood there like a coward when Maureen threatened him, and even when Charlie is angry right now, he understands. Dev spent 6 years, hell, Dev spent most of his life thinking this show was the perfect fairy tale, and he only just witnessed the ugly truth of it for the first time. Charlie understands why Dev couldn't stand up for him, and why he couldn't stand behind him. What he doesn't understand is why Dev is pulling away right now. We both knew this was going to end, Charlie, he says, as he slides out from beneath Charlie's weight. He walks over to the hotel desk and rubs his finger along the edge of the Courtyard Marriott notepad. We both know this had an expiration date. What if I don't want it to end? What if I want, he almost says forever. But Dev is standing in front of the desk with his closed-off posture, and the word can't make it past his lips. More. Dev folds his arm across his chest. Charlie sees it for what it is, a feeble attempt on Dev's part to protect himself. There isn't any more to have. We want different things. I thought we both wanted the house in Venice Beach. That was a fantasy, Dev erupts. It never would work. Because of me. Because of us. Because you're a reality television star, and I'm your producer. Only for another week. Dev rakes his fingers violently through his hair. Do you want kids, Charlie? It's the last thing he expected Dev to ask him, and any attempt to an answer gets sealed off from inside his dry throat. Because I want kids, 4 of them, and I want marriage, and I want to walk down an aisle wearing a heinous white tux that would embarrass the shit out of you. And I don't want to spend another 6 years with someone who doesn't want what I want. It's all spinning so far out of Charlie's control. He thought stupidly that the uncertain future was something they could step into together. But now it feels like they're pulling in opposite directions, a dysfunctional team in a 3-legged race. He tries to find a clear thought, a clear emotion, a clear string of words, and offer it to Dev. He wants to find a way to make Dev understand. 2 months ago, I came on this show, believing I wasn't worthy of love. And now you know what... Now you know what to know... How can I... This chapter has ruined me. I can't even read anymore. And now you want to know if I've ever thought about marriage and kids? Dev, I haven't. I've never thought about any of those things were even an option for me. I'm not saying they aren't. I'm just saying I don't know right now. I need time to figure myself out. Dev looks down at him, pushes his glasses up his nose with 2 fingers. I don't want time, Charlie. I want to walk away before we both get hurt. I'm already hurt. Charlie. Dev. He reaches out, in the only way he knows how, in the only way he has left. I love you. Charlie expects to feel better once he said it. Instead, he feels naked and exposed on the bed. He's handed Dev something delicate, and Dev's got a look in his eyes like he might smash it just to see what happens. You don't love me. Don't tell me how to feel. I love you. Dev shakes his head dismissively. Charlie might punch him. He might grab onto his ankles like a little kid and never let go. When he sees the silent tears gathering behind Dev's glasses, he does neither of those things. I love you, Dev, he says again. He'll keep saying it until Dev believes it. I love everything about you. Charlie pulls Dev's face down so he can kiss his tear-stained cheeks. I love you because you try and understand my brain even though you're terrible at being patient, and because you're passionate about stupidest things, and because you're the most beautiful person I've ever seen. I love how you make me laugh, I love your ugly cargo shorts, and I love how cranky you get when you're hungry. I love how stubborn you are, and I don't love you despite those things. I love you because of those things. Dev releases a sob at hearing those words paraphrased back to him. I get that you're in pain right now, Charlie continues. I know that this show isn't what you want it to be, and I get that you're pulling away because you're scared of how much it's all going to hurt, but I love you. I love you so much right now. I can't imagine not ever loving you. And it's okay if you don't love me back. I love you enough for both of us. Just please stop pulling away. Charlie. They are the two loveliest syllables in the whole world when Dev says them. Dev reaches down and kisses his mouth, his chin, his eyelids, his ears, like he's creating a sensory map of Charlie's face. I love you. How could I not love you? Charlie grabs his wrist and holds him in place. Then let me choose you. Choose us, please. Dev desperately clings to the front of Charlie's tux. He buries his face in the deep fabric, and his words snuggle their way out. We both know we weren't going to get a happily ever after. We could. Dev is floating away, and Charlie believes that if he holds him tight enough to Dev's hips, he can keep him. Just stay, Dev. Just choose to stay. The next morning, it takes Charlie a while to understand why Dev isn't in bed, why his luggage is gone, why Charlie's jean jacket and his oatmeal body wash are missing, why there is a torn-out piece of a notebook paper on the pillow next to him, neatly folded into thirds. Charlie reads the letter once, twice. He reads it 10 times. He doesn't cry. At least, not then. Not when he first understands Dev is not coming back. There is no panic, no anxiety, no spiraling. There is only an aching sense of sureness about who he is and what he has to do. He climbs out of bed and walks 3 doors down the hallway of the hotel. He knocks and Skylar Jones answers, bleary-eyed and still wearing sweats. Charlie, what is it? Charlie takes 3 deep breaths. Can we talk? Just as Angie said, fuck that shit up. We've got something exciting. Like, that was crushing. That was a wild amount of time to read. I'm sorry, like, a formal apology to you, but I couldn't not read it all. It was fantastic. It was crushing. It hurt my soul. It gave me the ability not to read anymore. I didn't want to get through it. I didn't want to deal with it. I didn't want to look at it. It hurt because Charlie was everything, and Dev was also there. Like, Dev loves him, and they both love each other, but it can't work in Dev's mind, and we understand that, but we just want to slap him and be like, just choose him. Fuck the contracts. Run away. Move countries. I don't know. Burn the place down to the ground. Burn the contract. Like, who cares? Like, just do anything you can, because I feel like love is worth all that. Besides, like, you know, actually, like, murder. Maybe burning the place down isn't a good thing, but, you know, do it for love. You know what I mean? But Charlie's scheming, and I can't wait to see what schemes they have, like, and Skylar, they're gonna figure out, I know it's gonna be great. Like, I'm so excited to see what they do and how they do it and how they go about it. I want everything. I want big finale. I want the finale of the show to be crazy and gay, and Shoei loves Dev, and they bring him back, helicopters, fireworks, I don't know, firing Maureen. I don't care. I want to see how it goes. I'm so excited to see. I don't know how many chapters are left, to be fair. Could be 1, could be 2, could be 3. Like, I don't know. And living in this not knowing is exciting and scary, but shit's going down. Shit's happening. It's crazy. I'm excited. I just can't wait. Like, I'm crushed, but I'm excited at all the possibilities, because, you know, it's right now, this is my purpose. This is my purpose, to see what happens. But yeah, I'm so eager to see what comes. Other than that, I think you've heard enough of me from me today. Let me know, like, what you thought of this chapter. Like, how excited were you? Like, if you've read it before, how excited were you to go forward? How crushed were you? Like, do let me know, because I need to know these things. And let me know, again, about, like, books. What do you think? House on the Cerulean Sea, House by the Cerulean, the Cerulean Sea one. What do we think about that? What are we vibing that? Yes, no, other recommendations? Would we still prefer a poll? Let me know all the things. And we'll figure it out, and I'll let you know what we decide at the start of the next video. Other than that, I think we're done for the day. I hope you enjoyed and are having a fantastic day, and I hope to see you in the next one.